Wells.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I also thank my colleague Gordon MacDonald for bringing this motion for debate to the Parliament this evening, and echo the comments of my colleagues in the Chamber that I really didn't understand the extent of the work of the Institute of Occupational Medicine until researching for tonight's debate. As the member for Motherwell and Wishaw and someone who grew up in that area, you can understand that it's very personal to me, knowing many people who were affected by mining, by the steelworks, and who suffered occupational ill health as a result of those areas. And indeed, vibration white finger is very common amongst a certain generation in my area. And to hear the work that IOM have done in recognising what vibration can do in terms of ill health was really interesting this evening. And I think it's also important because it's only through the work of organisations such as the IOM that the effect on women and children and the families of workers is also recognised, and that the dangers of asbestos and dust and silica and all these things are taken home. Were taken home to the family at one point, and that caused ill health to the wider community as well. I'm also delighted to be speaking tonight because I'm the convener of the cross-party group on accident prevention and safety awareness, and occupational health is something that we have held a number of specific meetings from, and we go back to 2013, I think, and we had a presentation from Andrew Watterson from the University of Stirling and their Centre for Public Health and Population Health Research, which was absolutely fascinating, and it takes us back to why the IOM was so important at the time of its inception, because in 1875, the first case of paraffin cancer in Great Britain was described by a Professor Bell, and it was from people working in the Scottish shale oil plants. And this is incredible because the article in which it's reported says that it was a well-known fact among the local physicians. And I think that's something that we forget culturally. Miners and steelworkers and the people affected by occupational health will have known dozens of people who were affected over the years, and yet it took so long for action to be taken. Indeed, in 1922, there were 19 cases of paraffin cancer in the Scottish industry, but no effective action had been taken between 1875 and 1922. And that is why what we are doing today and highlighting this is so important. In that presentation in 2013, the professor said that 15,764 people had died from cancer that year in Scotland, and 10% of the cancer deaths were work-related. And that's an estimate of 1,576 people that year dying because of the work environment. And that is why, as Monica Lennon said, it is so important that we recognise the work across the world of trade unions and the people that are campaigning for safer workplaces, and that every worker understands their right to have information about occupational hygiene so that they can look after their own health. And I'm delighted that we're highlighting that this evening. At that meeting, we also discussed about the particular issue of welding and how that was coming to the fore as being a potential area. But I just finished, Presiding Officer, but saying the 28th of April, we have Workers' Memorial Day each year, where we remember people who have not made it home from their workplace. And if I can just highlight the Scottish Hazards Group, because they campaign not just for the UK or for Scotland, but across the world, for work that does not cause physical harm or mental injury or illness, meaningful work enabling development of skill and competence, a work which differentiates but doesn't discriminate and is done with respect and fairness, and absolutely that access to occupational health and safety information and support is vital going forward. Thank you, Presiding Officer.